Ladies and gentlemen, if you know I'm dressed like this, it can only mean one thing. We have Big Daddy Kool Dane Beauchamp on the show. Dane, thanks very much for coming on today.
Thanks, mate.
Mate, a lot of people are very excited about your next fight coming up. It's the first time you fought in Brisbane for 4 years on the Preacher Fight Night.
Yeah, it is. I've been fighting abroad or interstate for the last 4 years. There hasn't really been too many big events in Brisbane, but when I was in Malaysia with Preacher for Revolution, he hit me up to fight on his next show, and I've been watching Preacher fight since I was a 13-year-old kid, so anything I can do to help him out.
Yeah, that's good too. And I know Adam King and Preacher are very keen to bring the Muay Thai back to Brisbane a lot. As you know, as with Blake, we've had some great shows, but no big shows. Probably not since Evolution went overseas to Malaysia.
Yeah, that's right. There's been some good local shows and good local battles in Queensland, but no really big interstate or international fight cards for a while now, and they're looking at bringing that back, so I'm all for it.
As it happens, a lot of the guys are getting fights overseas. Michael Thompson has, Carnage is fighting overseas. Do you envision that happening for you as well?
Yeah, I'm in talks with a few promoters and a few people. There's a bit of talk of one in England. I've got a baby on the way, which sort of put a hold on things.
You come from a sporting family, like back in the 70s, your uncles were playing A-grade football in Brisbane, and from what I understand, you weren't the most popular man in the world when you gave up footy to begin Muay Thai. No,
yeah, like my family's a huge rugby league family. Everyone played it. All the boys, every cousin, all my brothers, you know, everyone, there just wasn't any other option, you know. As soon as we were old enough to walk, we were passing the football. I gave it up and started doing boxing. My granddad was a boxer. I always loved it. I went down to a boxing gym to do boxing, and I went there and they had Thai boxing there. So I started that. My whole family just was, you know, no one even knew what Thai boxing was, you know, so they hated it until they sort of started seeing some results, but I think it worked well with me.
With your training, Daddy Kool, you've been with Nugget from day one?
No, I was at a gym out at Sanford where Nugget used to come to a lot for seminars. I remember he'd come out with Soren or one of the younger boys, Craig Hogan, yep, at the time, and unfortunately that gym that I was at started decreasing in numbers and was, you know, going under, so Nugget said, look, picked a few of us. That was it, that's when it started, and that was just a whole new level. Like, I'd never seen people train like that. He's
done well for himself too. Nugget's currently going to Germany, and he's got Evolution back on the road, and that is massive news for the Australian fight scene. Nugget's kicking more goals than Tony Lockett at the moment.
Yeah, that's right, he's doing really well. It's good to see. He's always put so much effort into us boys and put himself, you know, knocked himself back, but now he's really starting to go forward and getting the recognition and the things that he deserves.
With your fight on the 4th of October now, who are you matched up with?
I'm fighting a Thai called Aparak Corporate Box. I fought him at the start of the year. I got elbowed in the face about 30 seconds into it and had to forfeit the fight through the cut. Yeah, it didn't really get underway, so it made sense to have the rematch.
Yeah, it does make sense. The Daddy Kool persona, now I've always wondered, was that one of your ideas or did Nugget think of that?
That's actually, yeah, it's Nugget's idea. So what happened was we were in the gym one day, me and the pimp that walks me out.
Yeah, I'm sure that's Brendan Short.
Yeah, no.
It's not, I reckon that's him in retirement.
No, well, he can jump in anytime he wants.
How am I going? Do I get a start?
Yeah, you're doing a good job. Might have to call you up. Yes. So yeah, one of the guys had Daddy Kool as his ringtone, and we were just dancing around to it.
That's a great idea. It adds a bit of colour to the show. We've got a couple of entrances in the background showing at the moment, but yeah, it adds a bit of colour to the show. Like we can't all come out to the Tiger or something tough. Coming out to Daddy Kool's a great idea.
Well, Nugget actually dared me to do it. He said, I'll give you $100 if you can't do it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Keep it. I love that song.
He's never offered me $100. I'll have a word to young Nugget about that. This big weekend of fighting, on the night before, on October the 3rd, we have Eruption 10, and that's Paul Demicoli's show. They got a massive main event for that. if we have Chad Rattles Collin going up against Benaya Duma. Now Chad will go in as a heavy favourite with the form he's in, but what is different about this fight, I think, is that Benaya, instead of taking it on a day's notice or a week's notice, has had a 2 or 3 month prep. And why Chad will be favourite, I think Benaya's going to be there to fight. It's going to be a good matchup.
It will be. That Chad Collins is doing really well. I've kept my eye on him for a while now and been impressed. But Benaya's just, you know, he's had more fights than hot dinners.
Yeah.
The thing is, he does take him. He's always fit. He doesn't drink. He doesn't smoke as well. So he's always fit. He's one of those guys that'll just jump in. But now that he's got a bit of time, and I think it'll be a good fight.
I reckon it'll be a great fight. With the weight division you're fighting at, we've still got Michael go up against Kevin Ross recently. Is Kevin in your weight division, and maybe is that a possible fight you could look at in the future?
He's a little bit heavier than me.
He's big for his weight too.
Yeah, well, I've spoken to Tomahawk. I do a fair bit of sparring with him, and
yeah.
You know, he said that he was quite big and cut a lot of weight, even for Tomahawk. So if we could get a catch weight, then yeah, for sure.
That would be good too. Okay, well, once again, a lot of Daddy Kool's fans will be coming to see him at the Preacher Fight Night on October the 4th. That's going to be good. And Daddy Kool, I'd like to thank you very much for coming on the show. You're busy training for your fights, but you still take your time out to talk to people and to help out.
No worries, mate. Anything I can do to help.